Hey everyone, so one of the big things is now that we have these new fancy view boards, how in the world am I supposed to connect them to the flip charts that I made for Promethean that we use for a billion years for Active Inspire or whatever? There is a way to do that. Obviously you can cast to your board, but there's lag, right? Well, you can actually load them on to your board themselves. I thought I'd show you how to do it, as well as to get a few additional features. So the first thing that you'll want to do is go to myviewboard.com and sign up. Now, it has this nice dreamy little choice for you to sign up with Google or Microsoft or whatever, but I would not do that. I would actually go ahead and type in your first name, last name, use your school system email and create a new password. It can be the same password as you use at school. Why can't you click on this Microsoft thing? I don't know. The board just doesn't seem to respond to that very well. So this makes it so it might actually work. So I'll do a sign in and I'll go in and do my credentials. And once you're in, you'll get access to a lot of things. The nice thing is once you have your account set up, you'll get and connect your board to it, and I'll show you how to do that in the second part. You'll be able to have a few new features like the AI pen where you can, if you can't draw, you can try to scribble something down and see if the artificial intelligence can figure out what you're doing and do that. But anyway, I want to go in and click on the follow me settings. It looks like this person, maybe they're being arrested, I don't know. And I want to go to cloud integration. Now I'm ready to link my group together. I'll unbind this just so you can see it, and I'll bind it again. So now I'm going to do a OneDrive for Business, and it's going to ask me to sign in. Now I'm going to do that. Yes, stay signed in. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to wait because it's a computer, and that's how it always works. And now it should say that your OneDrive for Business is bound to your group. If you have a OneDrive for personal you want to use or a Google Drive, you can bind those as well. And now that you have those, you should be able to go over to the board. So the next part will be from the board. Also, just an aside, there are some settings here that you could set that might make your life easier. The board will automatically log you out of your account after an hour, but if you want to change that to 4 hours or 8 hours or whatever, you absolutely can right here. Also, if you wanted to change the theme of your board, you can do that. This is what it'll default to once you log in. And maybe you want to change the pin width for whatever reason, I don't know, your life. So there you go. You can confirm all those things and it'll just say changes applied. And then you're ready to go. So on the other side, I'll show you what it looks like on the board. Oh wait, stop, I forgot. I showed you how to link the board, but I didn't show you how to turn any of the Active Inspire flip charts into actual files that you can use. I'm a dope. Anyway, imagine you have an amazing flip chart like this that has a line on it and it also says stuff, and I definitely want to keep that. So in order to be able to use it, I need to convert it into a different file type. Don't get afraid, this is not hard. Go up into the file and basically you open your Active Inspire flip chart that you have made. And I want to click down here and it says export, and I want to export it as a common file format, which says WIB. That's the one that the boards can actually read. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to save it someplace that I know that I can find it, so I'll just throw it in the downloads. One flip chart. Now for yourself, you'll want to organize it better than this, but anyway, at least I'll have it, right? So I'll click on Save. Then I want to go over to my OneDrive, so I logged in and clicked on, you know, the whole OneDrive thing. You've done that a million times. There should be a new file somewhere that says something like My ViewBoard. So I'll click on My ViewBoard, and then I'll upload. Maybe I'll open FlipCharts. You never know what I'll do. And I'll upload that file. One flip chart. And it'll take a few seconds to load, and there it is. So now that it's there, I should be able to load it from the board. This is not the one I'm going to load in the other video, but just to give you some idea. Again, File, once you open it, File, Export, export as common file, and then upload that to your My ViewBoard folder that exists on your OneDrive. After you link them together, you have to link them together first, otherwise there's no My ViewBoard folder, although you can open any folder. So if you wanted to do all this first, that's fine. Just make sure you can remember where you've placed it. That'll make it much easier on you and everyone else.
Okay, now that you have things set up on your account, that's awesome. We're ready to make some adjustments to, or add it into this thing. I don't know what adjustments we're going to make. So go to the bottom right corner where you see this little smiley face guy, and it says my, or it could be girl, I don't know. And click on that, but be patient for a second. It will have a login box that comes up. That's where you log in using the credentials that you used on My ViewBoard. And then once you're all hooked up there, and again, I wouldn't do it through the buttons that have the icon for Microsoft email or whatever. I would just type in what you have. It makes it much easier. Then I'm going to go to this icon right here, the one with a little box full of stuff. And I'll go into, at the top here in the kind of beige line, you'll notice next to the little black box with the blue dot, which is the hard drive, there's one that says OneDrive for Business. That's where I've set up my OneDrive. So that's kind of nice. And I'll go into My ViewBoard. Maybe. There you go. I can't double click. I think I double clicked too fast for this board to understand. And then I'm just going to open up my Active Inspire flip chart that's there. It takes about a minute or two. I'm going to make you sit through all of it, but I will say for a timing perspective, if you have morning work or whatever, that would be the time to go ahead and load it on the board. I wouldn't have them sitting there staring at you and then you get to the part where you try to load it onto the board, just because it takes a little while for it to import all the pieces. Depends a little bit on how big the actual file is and what all the fanciness that you've put in there. But with that being said, having them stare at you for 2 minutes is probably not great. But I'm not going to make you sit through that, so I'm going to pause this and I'll come back when it's ready. All right, so not long after I actually finished and paused it, it was actually ready to go. So these bars will let me click through the pages, of course, and it'll actually tell me kind of what page I'm on and that whole thing. You'll notice that there's a number of the page on the front, but it'll tell you how many pieces are in the chart. It's brought it all in. And the nice thing here is I can do all the things I can do. Writing without lag. For some reason I wanted to put a bunch of trees on there. I could do that. You may not even know that that's a thing. An added bonus is once you've logged in, you can actually use a couple things like the AI pen, which is if you don't draw things very well. This is my, let's see what they come up with. But what it'll do is try to guess at what you're trying to draw and give you some suggestions. And there it is. I was going to do a boat. So it'll actually kind of upload it in for you. Again, these features, because of the internet speed, there it is over in the corner there. And then I'll take this little boxy thing down here, the little rectangle with the arrow, and then I'll sort of touch on this. Now that I did that, it gives me all these options. Like now I can move it. I can flip the colors. I can do lots of other junk that maybe you want to do or maybe you don't. I don't know. But that is a thing once you've actually logged in to the account. So that might be something to consider. One other thing I just wanted to throw in here, because it's been a thing. A lot of times if you write, the default for this board is that it allows for palm touch erasing. So if I take my palm, I can actually erase stuff on it if it's in the default setting. But I don't want to do that. I'll show you what that looks like real fast. So this is the default. I can just take this and I can use my hand. The problem is if you hit it with your elbow, it doesn't know the difference. So it moves things all over the place and starts a bunch of nonsense. And who needs that, right? So instead, what I'm going to do is turn that off. So I'll just go in here. Also, if you wanted to change the theme, you could do that. I meant the little gear at the top right corner where it says palm eraser. I'll just click disable there. And now I can't palm erase. To do erasing, now I have to go down to Go back to the pen here. Go down to this, and I have a few options. I could just do the eraser as an eraser. The spray thing is weird, but if you just want to clear everything out, all you need to do is hit the trash can, and it'll clear the whole board off. That's it. So hopefully this helps.